Hello, welcome to another episode of Elevate Your Wellbeing podcast. Hopefully, you have got the curtains open, you're enjoying some natural light or some sunlight. It's a super sunny day on the day I'm recording this, so hopefully, you're getting to enjoy that. You also have a glass of water and your journal. Remember, we've got our journal prompt at the end of this episode. And I wanted to start off this episode. To me, this really feels like the official first episode, because if you've listened to the previous ones, and thank you so much for listening to them, they're really me reflecting on my story, my journey, and just a way for you to get to know me a little bit better. Maybe there's something about my journey that you didn't know before if you've been with me for a while through your well-being journey. And I know when we reflect, I know for me, I do get a little bit rambly. So thank you for listening and still just being present with me. I really do appreciate it. Now, last week I did say I wanted to talk to you this week about the 1% method, but I'm actually going to bump that to the episode 6, which should be in the new year. So apologies if you're like, yes, I'm really looking forward to finding out what this is. I do post about it a lot on my Instagram and on my Facebook page. So there is information there and I can direct you there if you want to know a little bit more. Otherwise, I really wanted to dive into the topic for this week, which is done is better than perfect. And I really felt a calling to record this today. I've been walking the dogs. I've had a really lovely morning routine. I've taught in my Rise and Shine Wellbeing membership and taken the dogs out, enjoyed the sunshine. And this is what was going around in my mind. And I really wanted to highlight this has been a huge part of my journey. Done is better than perfect. Now, this might be completely new to you. It may be a concept that you're aware of. It might be something you yourself are also working with. And I really want to highlight this because I've already said this episode to me feels like the first official podcast episode, because the previous ones were me just sharing a bit more about me. Like I said, they can be a little bit rambly. And oh my God, I think it was the last episode. I had a right old brain fart, completely lost track of where I was going, and it still hasn't come back to me. And I was so tempted to delete and redo. But that's not done is better than perfect, is it? Let's be honest. And it's then not showing the true me. It's also showing there are obviously bits about me that really relate to you, that you can relate to, that you also go through. And I feel really good about it because after I recorded that episode, and I was like, oh my gosh, it probably sounds awful, and the perfectionist in me is coming out. And I find it really funny because it's also channeling that last quarter moon in Virgo, and Virgo can have that tendency for perfectionism. And then I was catching other people's lives and they had the same thing. They'd be talking, they'd lose a train of thought. Some people were new to going live, some people were seasoned coaches and mentors, and it still happens to them. And it was like, I can see this in myself and I can see this in other people who I really look up to, other people that I really respect. And it's honoring that that's part of the journey. So I wanted to share this with you this week. And I feel like it feels really apt for today. It's a new moon. We have the new moon in Capricorn. And Capricorn is the work ethic, our work drive. And this is where my rising sign is. So it feels like, it's that organize, get things done, have the to-do list. And sometimes it doesn't always go to plan. And it's where this done is better than perfect can really come in. And I'm kind of giggling to myself because in the background I can hear someone drilling. So apologies if you can hear that. I might have highlighted that to you and like I wasn't even aware of it. So amazing. But again, that part of me is like, oh my gosh, maybe I should wait until that's done. But how often do we put things off because we can find an excuse that it's not going to be perfect? How often do we have a go? We have a practice run and it doesn't quite go right. And then we don't carry on and have another go. And the first time I heard this phrase, this concept of done is better than perfect, wasn't until 2018. So it was pretty recent, really, from who I would consider one of my first mentors, Marie Forleo. And I had signed up to her training, which is B School, B for business. But a lot of it from a business training really spills over into our whole life. And this is why I really focus on well-being, because it's that whole being, that holistic being of wellness, of being able to thrive in how we feel and how we do things, how we go about things, how we take action on things. So this done is better than perfect. I can remember when I heard this and I was like, ooh, no, 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 no. It has to be perfect. And only I can do it as well, because only I know how I want it and how it's going to be. And hands up if that is you. Have you ever thought that, no, I have to do it again, I have to redo it, it's not perfect, or I could do better, or yes, I could delegate it to someone else, but would they be able to do it as well as I can? And the truth of the matter is 80% is amazing. If you can get 80% of it done, if you can get whatever you're doing out there, if you can get it done 80% to your standards by someone else, it's done. It is done. And it can be really hard to let go of perfectionism. I can think of a few lovely clients, people that come through as yoga students who might be sitting here thinking, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. But do journal on that. And I will give you an additional journaling prompt with that is, how would it feel to let go of perfectionism? How would it feel to let go of you doing it so that you don't have to do it? It's not something you have to do, but you feel you should do because only you can get it done the way you feel it should be. And this has been a big thing for me in my well-being journey, in my business, in my health, in my life in general. And that's what I really wanted to highlight this for this week's episode, because my previous episodes really do feel like they are on that done is better than perfect. And for too long, I felt like I put this opportunity of putting a podcast together off for far too long, because what if it wasn't perfect? And as we're sitting on Christmas Eve as this episode goes out, maybe you're thinking the same. You might be looking around the house thinking, oh, I haven't put that decoration up, or I haven't wrapped those presents as well as I would have liked to, or maybe I haven't been able to get the specific brand of cranberry sauce, whatever it is that you get for Christmas. It will still be amazing, because it's the attitude, the action, the enthusiasm, the joy, the love that you put into doing the thing, into being present, that really makes a difference. So I want to try and keep this one short and sweet and just say happy new moon. This is a time of slowing down, looking within. Yes, it is in Capricorn, so we maybe want to have a focus on this go, go, go. We might be feeling a little bit that because we've just gone past the winter solstice. So the days are starting to get a little bit, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, which feels amazing. It doesn't take that long for it to start to get lighter again. And really honor being present, really honor what you can do that can just be done that is better than perfect. And remember, it's a new moon. It's a time of letting go, releasing. So you're on that clean slate, that new start. So in that new moon, that new start before the new year. So it's a really wonderful time to focus on what goals you're wanting to go into for the new year. And I'm going to go into that next week a bit more, because it will be the 30th of December when next week's episode comes up. And I'm going to go into the 1% method as we start the new year. I think it's a nice way to start the new year off with that focus, that intention. So be kind to yourself. What can you do that can be done that's better than perfect? Not better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. I'll rephrase that. Make sure it's done. It's not going to be better than perfect, because you can't get better than perfect, but you can get things done. Done is better than perfection. And it's just that reminder of it's okay, because it's only we are our own worst critic. You are your own worst critic. And if anyone else holds you up. Notice how other people talk to you, but do you then talk the same to them? Are you being critical of their work and then feeling bad because they're highlighting what they might be criticizing of yourself? Instead, flip the script, and what can you be grateful for that you've done? So thank you for doing the washing up, or thank you for putting the bin out, thank you for letting the dog out, thank you for taking the dog out for a walk. So come back to that attitude of gratitude. It really does help. And I do want to go into that a little bit more in another episode, with gratitude and positivity, toxic positivity, and how we can work with that. But for now, I want to wrap up. I want to wish you a very happy Christmas. Grab your journal, if you haven't already, with the extra prompt I gave you earlier. And your prompt for this week is, what's preventing me from pursuing the things I want to pursue? What's preventing me from pursuing the things I want to pursue?